everybody. If you're with us in the arena, welcome to the Eagle Builder Center. If you're listening in from home, welcome to the Bulldogs broadcast here on Hockey TV. My name's Aiden. Behind the camera is one Scott Stimson. You'll be joined by Brian Wilson and Mike Moeller on the broadcast in just a few moments, but I'm here to bring you our pregame show here. It's the Blackfalds Bulldogs against the Whitecourt Wolverines for this, the second time this season. The Whitecourt Wolverines come into this game with a 5-2-2 record. They're currently third place in the North Division. The Blackfalds Bulldogs sitting at 5-4-1 after that overtime loss to the Camrose Kodiaks on Monday. They're fourth place in their South Division. Whitecourt have won their last 3 games for the Blackfalds Bulldogs. They lost their most recent one in the last 5. Whitecourt 3-2-0 and Blackfalds is 2-2-1. Not a lot to separate these two teams in the standings. However, where the difference comes is the special teams. They have a very comparable power play. Whitecourt sitting at 23.9%, Blackfalds 23.5%, but it's the penalty kill. That's where you see the sharp difference, and that's what killed the Whitecourt Wolverines in the last matchup between these two teams. We are going to get to that in a second, but it's the Whitecourt Wolverines 70.6% on the penalty kill, 85.7% for the Blackfalds Bulldogs. In games that the Bulldogs have won this year, they've got a 29.1% success rate on the power play. Their 9 power play points for Brett Meerman makes up 9 of his 17. He's got 4 goals and 13 assists on the season. Tyler Wallace leading the way for the Blackfalds Bulldogs in goals. He's got 4 of those on the power play. For the Whitecourt Wolverines, Cooper Smeal has been a beast for Whitecourt this season. He will start the game as their first line center. He's got himself 8 goals, 6 assists, and 14 points on the year coming into this game. As I've touched on already, the last game for the Blackfalds Bulldogs was right here at the EBC Monday night against the Camrose Kodiaks. It was the second meeting between those two teams this season. Camrose took game 1 here 5-4. That was the Bulldogs' home opener, and it was the Blackfalds Bulldogs that got off to a very strong start. 2-0. They were roaring out of the gates against the Camrose Kodiaks. First, Tanner Willick, beautiful cut to the inside, fakes the shot, slides the backhand into the open side. Willick was named the league's Defensive Player of the Week this week, and you can see why. Next, Connor Dick, who's been absolutely phenomenal. We'll talk to Connor in a little while here. Links up with Tyler Wallace and Brett Meerman on the 3-on-2, finishes it off 2-0. Then the Camrose Kodiaks would wake up and they would come back strong. First, a beautifully worked power play goal to make it 2-1, and then Ryan Sullivan would get his second of the game, streaking his way down the left wing boards with under a minute to go in the second period. He snapped a sharp angle shot. It leaked through Charlie Zolan, and Zolan doesn't need me to tell him that's one he would like to have back. It's 2-2 going into the third period, and in the third period it was Connor Dick again in a play that starts in the Blackfalds zone. Puck falls to Dick. Looked initially like it might have been a 3-on-0, but Dick held it himself and fired a perfect wrist shot up over the glove of Robert Andrikos. 3-2 the score for Blackfalds, but Camrose would come right back. Cooper Sharp finding the rebound, a backhand shot past Charlie Zolan. He scores to make it 3-3, and then Cooper Sharp would play hero in overtime. Shot underneath the blocker of Charlie Zolan. Camrose takes it 4-3 in overtime. The Whitecourt Wolverines are a little bit more well-rested. Their last game came back on Saturday, October the 8th against the Sherwood Park Crusaders. Whitecourt opened the scoring, Spencer Rayum on the power play, but 2 Sherwood Park goals in the first period. First from Tyler Miller and then from Brock Souch. Souch's goal with just 4 seconds to go in the first period. That made it 2-1 Sherwood Park, but Dylan Leslie would score for the Whitecourt Wolverines on a short-handed odd-man rush, taking the pass from Cooper Smeal and burying it. That sent the game to overtime, and in overtime, Whitecourt would get their goal through Tanner Komzak. Here's the call from Wyatt Ziegler.
Taking a trip up the middle, crosses over to the right side, back up the middle now, drop for Komzak right side. Komzak makes a move towards the net, shoots, and he scores! The Komzak attack is back, making a 7-game point streak. Wolverines win! Wolverines win overtime!
As I already mentioned, the Whitecourt Wolverines and Blackfalds Bulldogs have met each other once already this season. That came here at the Eagle Builder Center at the beginning of October during the AJHL Showcase. Blackfalds opened the score in the only goal of the first period. Jason Seedham had a shot towards the goal, redirected in off a Wolverines defenseman. Power play goal for Blackfalds made it 1-0, and then Blackfalds killing a 5-on-3 Connor Dick steps out of the box, 5-on-4. Jason Seedham hits him with a breakaway pass, and Connor Dick rips the shot underneath the glove of the Wolverines goaltender. 2-0 Blackfalds. Whitecourt, though, would fight right back. Tanner Komzak would score first. Brilliant second effort going to the front of the net, and then Daniel North would tie the game 2-2. That's where we stood going into the third period, and I mentioned it already. Whitecourt's penalty kill percentage, not where they want it to be. 70%, you need that number higher, and it definitely was not higher in this game. Blackfalds, an onslaught on the power play in the third period. First, Tyler Wallace getting his fourth off a juicy rebound, burying it upstairs. Tyler Teasdale would take a perfect pass from Jason Seedham, roof it over the glove of the goaltender to make it 4-2 Blackfalds. That was the only even strength goal of the third period. Blackfalds will get 2 more on the power play. First, a sharp angle shot from Jaden Jolly sneaking in, and then Tyler Wallace finishing off an absolutely brilliant passing play between Tanner Willick, Jason Seedham, Brett Meerman, and himself. Wallace has his second of the period. Was the Blackfalds Bulldogs who took that one 6-2 over the Whitecourt Wolverines at the showcase. It might not have been a 60-minute effort from both teams that night, so I think that's going to have to be the key to the game for both teams, is make sure you have your foot on the gas throughout the entire game today. Blackfalds in that third period clearly did have another gear over Whitecourt, so for the Wolverines, you have to keep pace and elevate your pace above the Blackfalds Bulldogs if you want to get a victory against them today. On to some lineup news for both teams. Starting in goal today for the Whitecourt Wolverines is Matt Schoperster. It's just his second start in the AJHL. He was very, very good in the first game he played, picking up a victory. The Blackfalds Bulldogs, after Charlie Zolan had that overtime loss, go to Matthew Hennessy, a 2-3-0 record for Hennessy. He gets the nod today for Blackfalds. In terms of scratches, Whitecourt, Nathan White, Aiden Long, Connor Selesky, Rodion Tatarenko, and Jaden Watson not in the lineup. Only 2 true scratches for the Blackfalds Bulldogs there, Wesley Zolan and Bailey Iwonis. Alexei Trischuk misses out on his 3rd straight game due to a suspension. This is the last of his suspension. He'll be back Friday night for the Bulldogs. Otto Hansen misses out due to injury, but a big piece of lineup news for the Blackfalds Bulldogs. This will be Brendan Ross's first game back from his injury. He's going to line up on the second line at center between Bill Gorgon on his left and Jason Seedham on his right. That top line of Seedham, Wallace, and Meerman split up. Connor Dick plays with Wallace and Meerman today. He played with them on Monday, of course, and scored 2 goals for the Bulldogs. Speaking of Connor Dick, I did have the opportunity to sit down with Connor. He's been red hot of late. Here's my chat with Connor ahead of today's game. Continuing on with the Bulldogs pregame show, I'm joined by forward Connor Dick, who has 3 goals in his last 2 games, had 2 in the last game here on Monday, but we'll talk about that in a second. I want to ask you first, played for the Sherwood Park Kings in the AEHL last year. How was that?
It was good. Yeah, we had a good team. We didn't make it too far in playoffs, but we had some talent.
You yourself had a good season, 15 goals, 28 points, and you earned yourself a spot here as an AP. You played 2 games. What was the experience like being an AP here last year?
It was awesome. Yeah, I played 2 games. I think we won both, and it was a game where Spencer Bell, he broke the glass on hit, so that was pretty cool to watch.
So this is your first full Junior A season. Can you tell me about your experience in the dressing room with the team so far? Some of your teammates are peeking around the corner there at you. Don't feel pressure to make it seem better than it is. But tell me about it so far.
It's pretty awesome. We got a great room here and a great group of guys. It's everyone has fun. Yeah.
So far this season, between the 5 goals you've scored in the regular season, the 2 you had in preseason, it's been that wrist shot of yours that's been killing goalies throughout the league. Can you tell me about the shot? Because it seems like you spent hours this summer just taking pucks and ripping them on net. So how is it so good?
Yeah, I just built a pretty cool shooting setup in my garage. 6-inch holes to shoot through. So just, spend hours in that. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
So you've only had 5 this year. Do you have a favorite?
Probably last game. The second one last game was my favorite because it was a bigger goal. We didn't end up winning, but
get a hold of it. Now we have a chance for the Bulldogs. Here's Dick, shoots, scores!
earned you guys a point in the end against Camrose. So, Connor, it's been a successful start for you. You're up on the top line. What's the goal from here? Where do you want to take your hockey career?
I'd like to go NCAA if I get an option in that, to hopefully play pro or at least get a scholarship and an education from it.
You're on the path so far. I wanted to also ask you if you have a favorite NHL player, or if not a favorite, one that you're trying to emulate your game and one you're trying to play like.
Yeah, my favorite player is Pavel Datsyuk. He's just got such good hands and protects the puck so well, so that's who I also want to play like.
Okay, thank you so much, Connor. I really appreciate it. All right, everybody, that's it for the pregame show. We're going to be live on the broadcast if you're listening on Hockey TV, so I'm going to turn it over to Brian Wilson and Mike Moeller. If you're at the Eagle Builder Center, I'm going to turn it over to Checks on the PA. Hope you're ready. It's the Blackfolds Bulldogs and the White Coat Wolverines here at the Eagle Builder Center.